Hey YouTube land, Tychondrus here doing another action figure review. Now this is, well, I have to give a shout out again to Raz Holly, aka Ruby Bandit. Well, his channel is now Ruby Bandit, formerly was Raz Holly. He picked this up for me. It's the GameStop exclusive Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Goldar. I was super stoked for this figure when I first heard it was being announced, or when I first heard it announced that it was coming. Was pretty disappointed that it was a GameStop exclusive, because if you're over here in Europe and you go to GameStop, you'll know how absolutely diabolically crap they are at getting any exclusives. Nearly anything that's ever a GameStop exclusive is US only, maybe Canada, US and Canada only. Outside of that, you have to fend for yourself, as they say. So, like, the new, I think the other one that's coming out, which is a GameStop exclusive again, which is the wedding set. I think that was GameStop announced as GameStop exclusive. The one with this guy and Rita. So, it's a bit of a bummer. Hopefully, it will get mass retail. Because if you look at the box, if I just bring it in here, if I just move the camera up, it'll be easier. The actual box doesn't actually have GameStop exclusive tags on it, so hopefully it's like a timed exclusive, as they say, where it's exclusive to certain retailers for a small period of time and then it gets released to mass retail, which is, I hope, the case for Goldar here. Now, again, I haven't actually seen any place outside of the US selling the Lightning Collection that much. I think there's a few places in the UK that sells them, but like mass retailers, as far as I'm aware of here in Ireland, don't seem to be carrying any of them. Even stuff like, where is it? Sometimes you get places like Argos will get in some, but they won't have a full wave. They'll just have like one or two figures. Smiths don't have any listings for them, so you'll have to see what you can get. So again, before I proceed any further into this review, just a note, a disclaimer to say that these reviews are intended for collectors over the age of 13 plus, just to aside by FTC and COPA rules. But it's Goldar. Onto the box, just really quickly. As I said, the box has Goldar's face on it. It's actually done in gold compared to the white that both Tommy and Lord Zed came in, which is interesting enough. It just has Power Rangers logo on the side. The image of Goldar continues onto the side. You get a different image on the opposite side. Then on the back you get an image of the prototype of the figure. Then all the legalese stuff. And then more legalese stuff at the bottom. And I'll just pop that there. So, accessory wise, he comes with a few accessories. He comes with a few swappable hands. His wings technically are accessories. They are separate when you get them in the box, so you have to plug them in. They do fit onto his back quite nicely, and they do articulate quite nicely. His hands that you get, so straight out of the box, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I got this guy. He has the grippy hands. So he comes with a grippy hand on the left and a grippy hand on the right. You can hold the sword in both grippy hands because they're sort of rubbery. They're not a solid plastic. They're slightly rubbery plastic, just to give them an extra bit of, well, actually, sorry, they are solid plastic. If you heat them up a bit, they get a little bit more rubbery, so you can actually slide the hilt of the sword in. I did have to heat up the hand for this one, get the sword in. It would be nice if Hasbro took is it NECA does it? NECA has done it on occasion where the sword hilt you could pull apart and plug it in, and then you could have it just slide into the hand and plug into the rest of the sword. It would be nice. He comes with this lightning effect, which is a separate piece, so his sword doesn't have to have it all the time. Comes with his sword, and then he comes with this outstretched hand and an enclosed punchy hand. So, and that's for the right, and for some reason I have a bit of spider web stuck to my hand for some unknown reason. So, he has a punchy left hand and a grabby right hand. So, and then he has the two grippy hands. overall, he's quite nicely done. This piece is the softer gummy material, as is the skirting, so it doesn't hinder the articulation too much on him. His tail is sculpted as part of this skirt piece, so it is kind of separate. So if you if you want to look up his skirt, it's not attached to him anywhere. He can't really do splits that much because of those skirt pieces, but he can go forward, as you saw. Doesn't really go back too much because whereas the front pieces are split here, the back doesn't have that split on it. You could potentially, if you wanted to, I'd say it would be quite. You could probably slice down that side if you really wanted as a customizer to do it. I'm not saying to go ahead and do it. I'm just saying you could do it, and it might give you a bit more swing on the articulation. Other than that, he has a ratchet joint in the waist, double diaphragm or double joint here in the chest. He has a joint up here and a joint down there. He has arm articulation, again slight bit hindered by the shoulder. He can do a full 360, but it has to pop out to the side to do it. But you can, if you want to, it will do it, but it's just a bit hindered. It is a butterfly joint on the shoulder, so it does kind of get an extra articulation on it. He has a upper shoulder rotation, dual hinge elbows, which don't get the greatest of articulation because of the way the cuff is. It does knock up against the elbow, but you do have that double hinge, which is quite nice. He has a swivel in the wrist and a hinge, so you can get some nice poses. To pop out the wrist, you just pop them out there on these pegs. Just be careful popping them out. They're quite a long peg, so when you're pushing them back in, sometimes they bend without the hand going in. So you just have to be careful of that. As I said, wings are articulated. You got a hinge here at the midsection, so you can give him that kind of, arc his wings down like he had in the show, or just have them straight out, and it does look quite nice. And then, as I said, they have that extra hinge, so you can actually just hinge them out of the way if you want, or just remove them altogether if you don't want them in the way. He does have a nice head joint. It's side to side. It's a little bit hindered by the neck piece, but it's interesting that this hairpiece is actually a separate sort of piece, but it does go up in underneath the helmet a bit. So in theory, you could remove the whole hairpiece, but it is kind of attached to the bottom of the neck as well. But why you don't want to remove the hairpiece, I don't know, but it is a separate piece. But it doesn't seem to hinder his neck movement too badly. Again, his legs can go forward. He does have a thigh swivel, but it's hidden behind this armor plating. He does have dual hinge knees, which gets a little bit over 90-degree bend, and a swivel and ball joint on or rocker ankle on the ankle, and a forward and back with a bit of a ratchet as well. Does have peg holes, and he looks just completely awesome. I do hope we get some of the other kind of figures from Mighty Morphin, the villains, not so much monsters. Well, I do hope we get the monsters, but I do hope we kind of get the, Rita's supporting cast, as in like Babu and Squash, and the scientist guy, which I can never remember his name. But that would be cool. And then just they have him compared with Lord Zed. Just need to reposition Zed, because I was using him for a photo shoot and he's not in a perfect stance. Bear with me a moment. So here he is, standing alongside Zed. Zed still is a small bit taller than him, just by the headpiece alone. Overall, you can kind of position the wings to be taller than Zed, but just by going by heads, Zed's little crest piece is a little bit taller. And then, just so you can see the scale, put in a measuring tape, and you can see he is around the just a little over the 6-inch line. And I'm just seeing if I have anything close by for comparison. I do. just for a quick comparison from another figure line. There he is it Wolf, I think his name is, or Fox. It's the Clone Commander, anyway, from Star Wars. And you can see they're roughly around the same height from the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch line. So they do scale pretty well with the Star Wars figures and the Marvel Legends if you have them as well. And even the Jazzwares Fortnite's Legendary is their 6-inch line. So if you have the Jazzwares Legendary figures, they seem to scale pretty nicely with that too. So there you go, guys. Quick video review for Mighty Morphin's Goldar. Again, shout out to Raz Holly for sending me this guy. He did send me a few other bits I need to get around to reviewing as well, but I wanted to get through this guy as well. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video review, and I hope you like my videos, and feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.